In mid-September, Thomas and I headed down to Athens County, Ohio for the annual Paw Paw Festival. The Paw Paw is a delicious native fruit in the custard apple family, and it's well worth celebrating. So as you've seen in some of the episodes, the Paw Paw tree is one of my favorite trees. Paw Paw is one of my favorite trees. One of my favorite fruits as well. And this is the Paw Paw Festival. Thomas and I have been wanting to come to this together for a while, and we're finally doing it, and we're bringing you along. There are all sorts of activities at the festival, but our first stop was one of my favorite things to do here, Atlatl throwing. And we were joined by a couple of our viewers, Maruha and Zach. We didn't really hit the target at first, but after a round of practice, we fared a bit better. Next, we went to get some Paw Paw Ice Cream from a nearby booth. Oh god, that's good.
It is really good.
It's really good.
Is this me, or does it taste a little cheesy in a good way?
Well, you can taste like the milkiness of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can actually taste more of the Paw Paw than I remembered last time.
You can really smell it. The taste is kind of subtle, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
You can see the chunks of it, kind of like the little fibers.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Paw Paw Festival?
I would drive back down for the Paw Paw Festival.
Worth the trip. Worth the trip.
Worth the trip.
Snowville Creamery is a local organic dairy farm that lets their grass-fed cows roam in the open pastures. And at the festival, they were using bicycle power to make their ice cream. Next, we hopped over to a booth of particular interest to us, the Buckeye Trail Association, which manages Ohio's long-distance loop trail.
The Buckeye Trail Association formed in 1959 to create long-distance trail like the Appalachian Trail right here in Ohio. So it started out as a 500-mile idea, grew to create the longest loop trail. Those blue blazes all the way around the state of Ohio that connect about 100 communities, goes through 48 counties, 1,400 miles long. It's not just the trail for me, it's all about the people. The Buckeye Trail goes through more communities, urban areas, small villages, and that's actually the blessing that Ohio gives us, is like each one of those towns has a great story, and we want to be a part of it and experience it. But there's also plenty of places of solitude along the Buckeye Trail, and the Buckeye Trail has a long way to go to fully develop with its backpacking sites, a 10-mile hike in Hocking Hills and a 10-mile hike in the Wayne National Forest are someday going to be connected because of our work into a 30, 40, 50-mile backpacking trip.
As the sun began setting and the clouds rolled by, it was time for one of the highlights of the event, actually trying some of the raw Paw Paw fruits. So we got two fresh Paw Paws. One is ripe and one is slightly underripe. The reason I got the underripe one is because I actually kind of like them like that. They taste a little more custardy, I think. But right now we're gonna try both of them. They smell really good. So this is the ripe one. The stuff inside is kind of this soft yellow-orange color. Tastes so good.
So this is supposed to taste like a mango and a banana. I thought I had a Paw Paw a long time ago. I was very underwhelmed. This is delicious though. That's good. The seeds are kind of a mouthful though. That's good.
This is a more underripe Paw Paw, and as you can see, the flesh is a lot whiter than yellow and orange. And it has this kind of like floury smell to it, like a baking flour. And I think that's maybe why, to me, this tastes kind of like custard or cake batter. But yeah, I still really like it a lot like this. It's kind of like some sort of egg custard dessert. It's a sort of a smoother, creamier texture.
It's exactly like you said. It's a lot creamier. It's almost like an ice cream, like a custard, except warm.
Which one do you think you like better?
I think I like this one more. I can't believe these are in Ohio.
We then stopped by a tent full of native plants that attract pollinators. We got some staghorn sumac here, some dogwood, some red oak, and down here is Viburnum dentatum. This is Gail Martin, the owner of Natives in Harmony. She sells native wild plants to anyone who wants to buy them.
The butterflies that I used to see when I was a kid, I wasn't seeing anymore. And I kept getting out on these prairie remnants, and I was noticing that the plants that should have been there were disappearing too. Well, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to put it all together. So I thought, well, if I save the plants, maybe we can help save the butterflies too. So I started collecting seed and bringing it back to my place for the nursery. And I was giving plants away to park districts, anybody that would take them. And
Have you noticed more changes since then?
yes, the wafer ash. In the pioneer days, they used the little seeds to make beer. But this tree is one of the only 2 plants that the giant swallowtail butterfly hosts on. I noticed at my house 2 years after I started growing the tree, the butterfly appeared. But this was a butterfly that I saw all the time as a kid. And my children and my grandchildren had never even seen one. We've got to stop that from happening.
Another thing that caught our eye was the primitive fire-making exhibit. Of course, I had to give it a go. I'm about to use the hand drill to attempt to make a fire. I'm gonna fail, but whatever.
All right, well, let's see. Keep going. Oh my gosh. Look at that.
Well, the step here would be to cut a notch in here, put something underneath to collect the dust, and go at it again until the dust turns into an ember. The host gave us a demonstration of the bow drill, which was made of wood from a special tree.
And the spindle here and the fireboard are actually made out of pawpaw.
After indulging in a bout of fire making, we wandered around a bit more, taking in the lively atmosphere of the festival. Then, we stopped by a handful of different booths with food and art. First up was Sticky Pete's maple syrup.
This past season was one of my better seasons in at least 5 years because it has to be cold to produce maple. And climate change, it's critical to maple, as is to many crops.
Then we viewed some art made by a man named Kevin Morgan, whose daughter was manning the tent.
It's kind of a family affair. My cousin does a woodcut of the actual artwork, and then he does the digital artwork for it and the layout to get it ready for print.
And this is Jackie O's beer.
This is Jackie O's.
From Athens, Ohio.
Yes, it sure is.
Well, cool.
He's been an Athens local designer for years and years now, and does everything from like Snowville stuff, Third Sun Solar, and then like a couple other logos here.
Next, we checked out some local made snacks.
All of our chips have 3 ingredients, all grown in Ohio, milled in Athens, so doesn't get much more local than that.
And now, of course, for the taste test.
Shagbark Seed and Mill cornbread cracker minis. It's delicious. That aftertaste is where you get the cornbread. That's delicious. It's like I need butter on it, but it comes with butter. Like, I gotta try that.
Oh, that is like cornbread, yeah. It's really good. As dusk rolled in, we felt it was only appropriate to have some of the festival's specially made Paw Paw beer.
So I got the Paw Paw beer menu. I thought there might be 1 or 2 Paw Paws. This entire page is full of all different beer with Paw Paws. Look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different Paw Paw beers. I never knew a Paw Paw existed until like a few years ago, let alone 9 Paw Paw beers.
We watched as the beautiful evening clouds rolled by, colored by the bright setting sun. Then, we sat down to give our beers a taste.
What is that?
This is the Jackie O's.
Okay.
It's the Hef number 1.
Hef number 2, maple wheat Paw Paw.
Cheers. This one you can really taste the fruity notes. It's like
This is probably the smoothest beer I've ever had.
let's switch it. Oh, that's good. Wow, that is really smooth.
Isn't that smooth? Dink it and sink it.
It sort of has that sour, fruity flavor you get in like Ghost's a lot. Beer on an empty stomach.
Beer on an empty stomach, but it's got Paw Paw in it, so.
I don't think that.
Just
The Paw Paw Festival is a shining gem hidden away in Appalachian, Ohio, and it's all the better that it celebrates one of the coolest trees out there. You can eat the fruit, make fire with it, spin rope, and build shelters out of this one tree. And on top of that, its flowers are beautiful. Few plants are more deserving of a festival than the Paw Paw. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and join our Patreon community to support our videos. Today's featured Patreon photo is by Ron and Chris Oren from Point Reyes. Yours could be next.